In fact, I had an argument with a systems engineer once who says, I need to take down the network for 2 days. I'm like, whoa, wait, 2 days? Why? Because I've got to do updates. I got to do this. I got to do that. I said, all right, well, let's think about this differently. If you take down the network, that also takes down the fire alarm system. That means we've got to post fire guards in every residential area, which means we got to pay overtime. We've got to do this. We've got to do that. In that 2 days of downtime for a small university was going to cost us about $250,000 to $500,000 in just overtime pay for campus security to watch the buildings. Otherwise, we could have had a fire and someone could have died, and no one would be there to bang on the doors and say, hey, get out. Well, that engineer goes, oh, you know what? I didn't think about that. I didn't think that that would have ramifications in what we did and how that would affect the users. And I think that that right there is an important aspect. So as a CISO, when I got into privacy, what I felt like privacy really did is it personalized security. Because we're not just dealing with the security of systems anymore, the security of a network, the security of accounts. We're protecting people. Now, when we deal with privacy and we get kind of the nuts and bolts, we talk about things like data subject rights or PII. What is PII and what do we do with it? So from a technical perspective, a CISO perspective, that narrows me down to, okay, I have this data that I'm supposed to have for some whatever reason. Now I've got to, I don't have to protect everything, but I can focus on this and I can protect this. And I think that that's really, really important. So when we talk about privacy and we talk about security, a lot of times people do put some sort of arbitrary line in between the two. I can tell you, in my organization, there is no line because I'm kind of it. You know, I'm the security guy. We don't really have a privacy person. I mean, I would love to, but we don't. And I kind of laugh sometimes that I say, well, the CISO was the original privacy officer, you know, Chief Information Security Officer. And I know that has different connotations nowadays. It's just kind of with the background and stuff. But, confidentiality was always a main part of the security triad. Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Confidentiality is an important piece. But now with privacy coming in and helping us, it's not just the private of everything, the confidentiality of everything. Let's really focus our intent. Let's take what few resources we do have and focus it really good on those things. So that really helps us. That really helps us build that structure to maintain that privacy. The other piece of it is that it puts those boundaries, like Beverly said. It gives us that boundaries of what should we have and what should we not have. Here's a good thing I like using. Now we're all adults and we're all here. If let's say you had a person who came to your data repository people, and they says, "Hey, can you give me a query of all the students? I need a query of all the students and all the contact information." A lot of people being higher education go, "Oh, okay, yeah, sure, here you go. Here's an Excel spreadsheet." But what if that person came up and says, "You know what? Can you get me a query, but I only want female students who are unmarried that are from 18 to 23 and that don't really have good grades." Now, I'm hoping that everybody on this call would go red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. Absolutely. But did it red flag the first thing I said of just give me everybody that had contact information? Now, if you give them that information, they can just stick it in Excel and filter it out and get the same exact information. So it's really critical that all of us should think about that PII and that data from a different perspective. And I think that that's really important because I see those things and go, wait a minute, you don't need that data. In fact, I regularly go to a department and say, you've got this data feed. Well, what are you doing with this data? Well, we have to have it. Well, why? Why do you have to have it? What is the business need for you having that data? And a lot of times it comes back, or they don't need it. They've always had it, or they want it, but they don't need it.